Hey, what up, folks? Welcome to the Film Focus page. It's me, and I'm going to be talking to you about All the Money in the World, the new film written and directed by Ridley Scott and starring Christopher Plummer, Michelle Williams, Mark Wahlberg, and introducing Charlie Plummer. Now, this film is based upon a true story, and it tells the story of John Paul Getty III, who was kidnapped whilst on vacation, and a ransom was offered for his return. And his mother, Gail, played by the excellent Michelle Williams, wants her grandfather, played by Christopher Plummer, to help him pay the ransom. But when he refuses to pay the ransom, due to the fact that, he's more preoccupied with his business than with his own family, she decides to align herself with one of Getty's advisors, Fletcher Chase, played by Mark Wahlberg, to help try and retrieve the child another way. Now, this film, All the Money in the World, is notable for one of the biggest reasons that I can think of, and that is the fact that this film was originally starring Kevin Spacey. But when Kevin Spacey had all those allegations made against him, Ridley Scott fired him, and then he hired veteran actor Christopher Plummer to take the role. Now, Christopher Plummer had to film all of his scenes over 9 days, and Mark Wahlberg and Michelle Williams had to do a significant amount of reshoots, and this was all done about 1 month before the film was released. That is quite impressive. And with that being said, this film is beautifully shot, beautifully acted, and beautifully written, and I think we can attribute this to the performances of Michelle Williams and Christopher Plummer, who, when together, this crew is electric. The chemistry between the two is just so good, and Christopher Plummer shows himself to be why he is one of the best actors around, and he gives a very, very good performance of John Paul Getty. And his portrayal of this character, he makes you feel he isn't an evil person. He just has his priorities in the wrong place. He's more preoccupied with his business and his money. And there's one scene in particular that clutches at your heartstrings where he offers to pay the ransom, and he only does it because he knows that if he gives the money, it'll be written as a tax deduction. And you think that, oh my word, this man's really, really cold. And he's really, really selfish. He's more selfish than he is cold. And the way that Christopher Plummer portrays his character, he does it really, really well. And it deserves the acclaim that he's getting for this role. And he was nominated for a Golden Globe Award. I can see him getting nominated for a Best Supporting Actor Oscar as well. Will he win? I think he'll be picked to the post by Sam Rockwell for Three Bridges Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. But I'll talk about that film review in a minute. But on the whole, all of the performances are good. And Ridley Scott, at 80 years old, still shows himself to be one of the best directors around. And, he's shown himself to be a director who can handle many a genre. He's done American Gangster, he did Thelma and Louise, he did Black Hawk Down, he did Gladiator, he did Black Rain, and now he's done this film. And this film is based upon tension. This film is a thriller. It is not an action movie per se. There are one or two mild action moments, but at the same time, this film is based upon acting and a good script and good tension. And he handles it beautifully. The film score and the cinematography of this film are excellent. And also, I felt that the film had very, very strong performances from all, including Mark Wahlberg, who gives a reliable performance as Fletcher Chase, the advisor, and also Charlie Plummer. I don't know if he's related to Christopher Plummer, but he gives a really, really good performance as John Paul Getty Jr. And just his interpretation of him was just really, really good, and I found that to be quite a good performance. This film is 2 hours and 13 minutes, and, it works well. It flows succinctly. There are a few repetitive bits in the film where they're talking about the ransom and everything like that, and I felt that could have been cut down. That could have been cut down significantly. But with that being said, it is still a good film nonetheless. And there are a few harrowing scenes. I mean, there was one scene in particular which was reminiscent of Reservoir Dogs, where to prove that they've got John Paul Getty, and this is a bit of a spoiler alert, they cut off a bit of his ear. That scene was done, it was a bit gruesome in places, but again, it worked. And again, it served the purpose of the film. But the stand-up performances from this film are Michelle Williams and Christopher Plummer. Their performances are excellent. The film is beautifully acted, beautifully well written. And, I can see these two getting nominated for Academy Awards. They've already been nominated for Golden Globe Awards. And if they're nominated for Academy Awards, it'll be very well deserved. And again, this film, January has just proved itself to be a really, really good year for films, especially since, the award season's around about the corner. But this film is definitely a film that deserves to be nominated. So, All the Money in the World, I will give this film an 8 out of 10. If you haven't seen it, I would highly advise you to watch it. Is it one for your DVD collection? Yeah, if you've got a few hours to spare, I definitely highly advise that you watch it. So that's my review of All the Money in the World. Feel free to subscribe to my channel. Let me know what you think. What's your favourite Ridley Scott film? And I shall see you on the next film review. Take care.